Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to talk about Stephen Krashen theory of second language acquisition. So before we talk about the theory, let's we talk about what is acquisition. So acquisition is is when we acquire language. So this definition, acquisition of a language require meaningful communication in a language, which is also called natural communication. So, and acquisition is subconscious. So, so from that we know that acquisition is acquiring a language by communicating with other person who's already um, uh, already know the language or already understand. So with that, we are uh, acquire their language and acquisition. So and then about learning of a language is based on less communication and more explanation of grammar rules. And learning is conscious and deliberate. So learning is like when we are uh, got the language subject in school, like English subject. So there are the communication between teacher and learner. So what makes it different? Well, acquisition will be our mother tongue because that so acquisition is start from when we are a child. We haven't learned any language yet, and when we heard somebody speak their language, we are gathering that information subconsciously and try to uh, make a structure of make a sentence to make a correct structure and communication. And so that's how we got our mother tongues from acquisition when we are still a child. So on learn about learning, we uh, we will be learn about our second language. So where for example when we are born in Indonesia, so our parents communicate with us with Indonesian first, and when we uh, in age to attend school, we got subject or English subject that English will be a second language. That's how normally acquisition and learning. But for Stephen Carson is quite different, or it's be uh, it's quite different about Stephen Carson theory where we it's possible for us to acquire uh, second language. So we are not learning it but acquire it. And also Stephen Carson mentioned that the more mature a person, it the easier that person will acquire a language. So that's how Stephen Carson thought about acquisition. And then next to the hypothesis of Krashen theory of second language acquisition. So the first one, the acquisition learning hypothesis. So that's when someone or person learn about language comprehension in language by acquisition or communication between person who already understand the language, and learning is same with the last definition. It's get the subject on formal education. So monitor hypothesis, which is so for monitor hypothesis where we as a learner able to uh, make a correction of sentences, like when do we use this word, or when do we use that word. For example, um, like in English, there are quite similar, many similar vocabularies like um, trust on faith. So in monitor hypothesis, we are able to choose which word is suitable in the sentence. Is it faith or trust, which is same meaning in Indonesia is percaya, and input hypothesis. So input hypothesis. So in input hypothesis, um, in input hypothesis, we learn English. I'm sorry. We learn language. Uh, when we learn English, there must be uh, one step higher than before. So we always progress as a have a we always have a progress in learning language, not always on the same level, but there will be a one grade increases, and but it's so the formula for hypothesis by Stephen Parsons is uh, the values the value of the language, or the grade of the language, we call it A and plus one. So what grade we are, at one. What grade we are at one. If we are not adding any grade, the learner will tend to feel lazy because there are no challenge in learning process. And if we add more than one grade, it's two grade or three grade, it's make the learner stressful because uh, there are many skip in the learning process. And effective filter hypothesis is other other factor of what make us more effectively learn language, and mostly from the psychology of the learner. Like if the learner has a high motivation of to learn English, a language, um, that mean the learning process will be more effective. And if the learner has no motivation in learning, then the learning process will not be effective. And last, natural order hypothesis. On learning process, there must be a natural order for us to learn language. For example, when for a child in phonology, a child tend to learn um, a vocal A. That's what the child able to learn first before the other vocal like A or U. Okay, so that's all. That's all hypothesis of Krashen. So I would like to discuss for my point of view, my opinion on Stephen Krashen's theory. So in my opinion, I would like to say to agree to disagree about Stephen Krashen's theory about second language acquisition. When we have to relate this subject uh, to a biology, especially in the human brain, where human brain is still work mysteriously, and as we are learn some acquire language subconsciously, that mean um, we might not notice that we learn acquire language. Uh, like for example, um, second me as student in Indonesia, taking English department, and there are, there is other language class or extracurricular like French class or etc. Um, where I didn't feel attended just to um, just to be there but not actually learn French. Uh, consciously I'm not learning in French, but subconsciously because I'm hearing someone talk in French. I hear the accent, I hear the word, etc. I have the memory of French language, and that can be called acquired language, but we just didn't, what is it called? We just didn't realize it. That's like how the child acquire their mother tongue, same like when we are adult hear some foreign language. And there are many cases where people got amnesia and forgot most of their memories when using their native language. Like for example, one I got internet about Florida man talk Swedish after getting a head injury. He 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 able to speak Swedish because he had traveled to Swedish, so he didn't learn Swedish. He just went to Swedish, heard people talk in Swedish, when the brain cannot access most of the memory when using his native language, but only able to access some of the like in memory in Swedish. Uh, that can be um, called changing native language because he already forgot his first language. And in when we talk about native language or mother tongues, it's not only about what our first language. It's about which language we are used to think because thinking require language, and without we cannot uh, make a thought without a language. Like when we are thinking of learning our second language, we process the second language with our native. Like when we heard about it, what is it? Uh, in my mother tongue in Indonesia, it means makan. So oh yeah, that's what it means. So that's that's how you to use it, and we know how to use the word in the sentence. Um, so in conclusion, I cannot say I'm agree or disagree because it's still a theory, and even there are proof of a living proof or uh, acquire a second language, but we need to know how our brains actually work. So that's all about um, the discussion of Stefan Krashen's theories. So thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.